Sophie had always dreamed of escaping the harsh reality of her life. The small village where she grew up felt like a prison, trapping her in endless poverty. Since losing her parents, she had lived with her aunt and uncle, waking up at dawn to fetch water, tending to the farm, and serving palm wine in her uncle's roadside bar. But Sophie knew she was meant for more. She wanted the soft life, the kind she had only seen in movies and on the Instagram pages of city girls. She wanted the latest iPhone, designer clothes, vacations in Dubai, and a car that announced her arrival before she even stepped out. One fateful evening, as she balanced a tray of drinks in the smoky bar, laughter that she hadn't heard in years filled the air. She turned sharply, and her heart nearly stopped. Kelly, Mirabel, and Fiona. Her childhood friends. But they looked different. Their skin glowed like polished bronze, their long wigs flowed down their backs, and their lips shimmered under the dim lantern lights. Their clothes were nothing like the wrapper and cheap blouses Sophie wore. These girls looked like they had walked straight out of a Lagos fashion magazine. Heads turned as they strutted into the bar like queens. "See big girls," a man whispered in admiration. "City prostitutes," an old woman spat in disgust. Sophie didn't care. All she saw was the life she wanted. Sophie rushed to them with excitement. "My friends. You guys look so beautiful. You are glowing." The girls laughed, pleased by the attention. Kelly smirked. "Sophie baby, what are you still doing in this dead village? A girl as fine as you?" Mirabel rolled her eyes. "You should be in Lagos with us, living large." Sophie's heart pounded. "Lagos?" "Yes, babe," Fiona said, sipping her palm wine. "There are well-paying jobs in Lagos. You'll make money, wear designer clothes, live in a big house, and enjoy life." Sophie gasped. "You mean it?" "Of course. We're your friends, aren't we?" Kelly said, winking. That night, Sophie couldn't sleep. She imagined herself in the city, wearing beautiful dresses, eating fancy food, and driving big cars. The next morning, with the little money she has been saving, she packed her bags and begged her aunt to let her go. Her aunt frowned. "Sophie, I don't trust these girls. You don't know what they do in Lagos." "But auntie, they work in a big company. They will to get me a job." Her aunt sighed. "I won't stop you. But be careful, my daughter." And so, Sophie left for Lagos, her heart filled with excitement. Lagos was everything she had dreamed of and more. Tall buildings stretched into the sky, cars honked impatiently, and streetlights painted the city in golden hues. Her friends lived in a breathtaking penthouse in Lekki. The glass windows overlooked the ocean, the furniture screamed wealth, and the closets overflowed with designer brands. The first week was magical. They took her shopping, dressed her in luxury, introduced her to the high life. She ate at fancy restaurants, attended rooftop parties, and rode in cars she had only seen in music videos. But something didn't sit right. Her friends only left the house at night, returning in the early hours, exhausted but satisfied. The fridge was always stocked with expensive wine, yet Sophie never saw any of them go to work. Finally, she gathered the courage to ask, "Girls, when will I start my job?" Silence. Then laughter. Kelly tossed back her drink. "Babe, you're already in the business." Sophie frowned. "What do you mean?" Mirabel crossed her legs. "We're high-class hookup babes. We make rich men happy, and in return, they take care of us." Sophie's chest tightened. "So, you're saying?" Fiona sighed dramatically. "Babe, don't be naive. Did you think this luxury was free?" Sophie's stomach twisted. "You girls sell your body for money? I can't do that." Kelly's face hardened. "We said that too when we entered Lagos, but the harsh reality of life made us rethink again, and I'll advise you do that too." Fiona sighed, fixing her dress. "Lagos is not for the weak. Nobody feeds you here for free, unlike your typical village." The weight of their words hit Sophie like a slap, as she just realized what she got herself into. "Pack your good girl inside bag and throw it out the window, cause in Lagos we don't dull around. Life is hard, girl," Fiona said. Was hookup the only way? No. She refused. But her friends turned cold. Then you'd need to leave, Mirabel said. We're not Father Christmas. You even owe us for the good treat you've been receiving. How do you intend to pay back? Sophie's chest tightened. I can find a job, please. I don't have anywhere to go to. Tears welled up her eyes as she looked at her friends with mercy. Not our problem, Kelly said, opening the door. Time is luxury in Lagos. With that they pushed Sophie outside with her bag. That night Sophie sat outside their penthouse, hugging herself as the Lagos night swallowed her whole. She had nowhere to go. No money, no food, and now, no friends. As the night deepened, strange men lurked in the shadows, their eyes hungry. She pressed herself against the cold wall, her heart hammering with fear. By morning, her stomach was empty, her pride shattered. When the girls stepped out, laughing and chatting, Sophie swallowed her pride. Please. I'll do anything, me. They exchanged glances. Are you ready to be a Lagos big girl? Tears burned her eyes. But hunger burned worse. Another day out in the cruel city without food and freezing out again? No. She nodded. The next day, they took her to a high-end salon. Her hair was replaced with a 30-inch Peruvian wig. Her face was sculpted with expensive makeup. When she stepped out, she barely recognized herself. The village girl was gone. That night, she was taken to a private club. The air reeked of money. Rich men in gold chains puffed cigars while girls laughed sweetly at their terrible jokes. She was nervous, but Kelly leaned in. That's Chief Brown, an oil magnate. He pays well. He doesn't like nervous girls. Behave. Sophie steadied her breathing as they approached a table filled with old men with big stomach as big as drums seated like they owned the word. A thick man in a designer suit spotted Sophie. His eyes gleamed with interest. Who is this fresh one? Eyeing her. New babe, untouched and well-behaved like you, like Mirabel answered, rubbing the stomach of one of the sugar daddies. Chief Brown smirked. I like her already. Come with me, let's talk somewhere private, he said, leading her out of the club to his presidential hotel. As they drove he got to know her, and of course Sophie answered carefully, her heart pounding. When they got there Sophie hesitated. Chief, I'm on my period, she said when she came out of the bathroom. Chief Brown leaned closer. More interesting then. I'll pay 10 million naira for a night for that. Her breath caught. 10 million? She hesitated, but then she thought of hunger. Of cold nights. Of all her suffering. The love of money silenced her conscience. And just like that, she sold herself. The next morning, Sophie woke up sore, but 10 million naira richer. She screamed with joy when she saw the credit alert. She returned home a millionaire. It felt too good to be through. Her friends cheered. You're lucky, babe. None of us made that much on our first night. But Mirabel stretched out her hand. Now, time for our cut. Sophie's smile faded. How much? 8 million. What? That's too much. Kelly smirked. This girl, have you forgotten so soon who brought you into this business? Don't be ungrateful. And so, Sophie continued working, paying them a percentage until she had enough to get her own serviced apartment and became a true Lagos big girl. She posted lavish vacation, designer clothes, and expensive meals on Instagram. Just like that her followers increased. People from the village admired her and kept asking how she made it that big so soon. Her friends tried to reach out to her, but she was bigger than their level now. They weren't in her class as she mingled with more classy Lagos babes in her standards and billionaire sugar daddies of the big city, Lagos. Months passed, and Sophie's bank account overflowed. She had everything: cars, trips, designer bags, men's attention. She was the real deal now. Chief Brown called her once a month, always at the time of her period, but she didn't think twice about. Until one day, something changed. She was expecting her period and getting ready to meet Chief as usual. But instead of blood, maggots crawled out of her body this time. She screamed in horror, shaking violently as the rotten stench filled her bathroom. She rushed to the hospital immediately, and doctors tried all they could, from one treatment to another, but nothing changed. Baffled, they told her, "We're sorry, we can't help you. Try seeking spiritual help, just maybe you might be cured." She ran from prophets to herbalists, spending millions to find a cure. Nothing worked. In desperation, she called Chief Brown. The number did not exist. How? That was when she knew. It clicked. Chief only had slept with her on her period. Why? A question she's just getting to ask herself, how carried away she has been for a better life, a luxury she no more has as a result of running from one place to another seeking help. She had traded her body and her soul. She tried reaching out to her friends again, but they pushed her out. "Look at this ungrateful girl," Kelly said to her friends. "When she was enjoying Chief's money without sense, did she remember us? Rather, she left to stay on her own. Now she wants us to help her reach Chief." Mirabel sneered. "The audacity. She doesn't know the world is a dangerous place, same as our job. She met the good part and lost herself. Hookup babes don't sleep with man with full eyes closed, but the foolish girl even slept and dreamt," Fiona said, and they all laughed. "She should go sort herself and leave us out of it." Broke, sick, and abandoned, Sophie dragged herself back to the village. The same villagers who had once envied her riches now refused to touch her. Her skin rotted, the maggots spread, her once beautiful body a horror to behold. She wept. "Auntie, help me." Her aunt covered her nose. "I warned you." Rejected, she collapsed by the roadside. By nightfall, she took her final breath. The villagers, too afraid of her cursed corpse, dragged her to the evil forest, where she was left to rot alone. The same wealth that had once made her shine had now consumed her.